Namaste, my name is Sudarshan Neupane. I currently head the Nepal Country Program for Hazardous Homes, TDH Nepal, and I've been in this position since October last year. So Hazardous Homes is Switzerland's largest humanitarian development organization. It's established in 1960 and it is currently operating in more than 35 countries around the world. In Nepal, we started our operations in 1985. Well, we all know that pandemic has had huge impact on the economy side of it or the health side of it. But oftentimes what we hear less is about the impact it had on the protection of the children who are already vulnerable and who have been impacted seriously and severely by the COVID is something that we really need to focus on. Based on our recent findings that we had from one of our child labor action research innovation program we call Clarissa, we came to know that a lot of children were engaged who were engaged in the adult entertainment sector. They got severely hit by it. And their families got affected, as many of these children were the migrant children outside of Kathmandu Valley and who had to come to Kathmandu, who were in Kathmandu, who lost their jobs, had to go back to their families, and their conditions became really difficult and worse after the pandemic. And on the other hand, there was this impact of COVID on the trafficking side of it. A lot of the children who were engaged, children and young people who were engaged in the worst form of child labor were the ones who were working in dance clubs, though they even got trafficked and different trends of trafficking. So that has also impacted their whole social and also cultural, but also transporter trafficking has affected their life really, really badly. It's really important to work in a very coordinated and integrated manner. And only working in one particular aspect would not solve the problem, particularly for those vulnerable and young children who are at risk. Therefore, I think we need to work hand in hand with the local governments as well as with all levels of government, and there is a very strong role of the civil society organizations. And also private sector when we start collaborating with them, there is no undermining on the role of media particularly around the protection of vulnerable children and young people at risk. So all in all, we need to work all in harmony. We need to make sure that we have correct data to know first of all what is happening and make our interventions accordingly, so that we are all equipped with the enough informations we have, and what we are offering is going to address the risks that children are at. In our case, TDH has a very strong focus of working with our local partners and also building their capacities. And how we do that is through the case management approach. Case management is a globally tested approach. In Nepal, we are collaborating with the various organizations to provide support to vulnerable children and young people at risk. And we also have trained human resources that provide support to the local governments, particularly through one of our projects called Sakriya. We provided support to 15 local civil society organizations and also worked with 45 local rural municipalities as well. And one of our successes is that we helped build capacities of local municipalities in promoting child rights and in supporting policy making, developing guidelines, and that has in turn helped them to better manage those children who were at risk. So that way we really need to work with different organizations to build their capacities, provide support to the children and their families who are at risk, and to minimize further harm in their lives.